All right. Hello, V2 community. My name is Caden. I'm the chief and owner of the V2 community Discord. I'm an expert on the forums, and today we're going to be going ahead and talking about the future of the community, the future of the app, answering some questions that the community has presented to us in the Discord. And we are going to try our best to give you as much updated information as we can. I'm going to go ahead and start it off with Dylan.
All right, I'm Dylan. You can also call me Super. I'm also a V2 forums expert, and I make video edits and stuff.
Hi, my name's Lex. I do a little bit of YouTube. I am currently in a computer engineering major, and I am also an expert on the forums and coordinating and suggesting ideas with my team.
Hi, my name is Jay. I'm also an expert on the forum. I'm an anthropology major, and it's good to be here.
So the first thing that I wanted to discuss with all of you is the ability to have a discussion page on your profile on V2. So this would be something like having people comment on your overall account rather than an individual video. This was proposed by forum user Rudy on the 21st of January, and it has received some attention, but it only received attention on that same day. And so I wanted to bring it back to light because I thought it was also a good idea.
I think the discussion page is a really good idea. However, I do worry about potential like cyberbullying in a certain sense, with especially like the younger users. And like I know that the age is 13-year-olds. I know that 13-year-olds are still a little more susceptible to, cyberbullying in a way. Is there a possibility of maybe tagging certain words? So like this word, this word, this word would not be allowed on the profile. So if someone were to comment those things, it wouldn't show up on the wall or the profile.
I don't think this is a feature that's been discussed, but I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I endorse it too, just tagging keywords that just muting keywords, just letting people not comment keywords. I think that is a pretty good idea. And honestly, I'm all for this discussion idea, but I feel like this discussion page should be a feature that you can toggle off, toggle on, because not everybody wants to have a literal wall of comments attached to their profile.
I think it could be a toggle off, toggle on, but also could it be like you have to have X amount of videos posted to your profile or video or like followers on your profile in order to post a comment onto someone else's wall, maybe? Like, so not just anyone can post a comment onto someone else's wall. Does that make sense? So there's some sort of incentive in order to post a comment.
I like the idea.
King had a great, he brought up something good yesterday about the interaction that Vine didn't have and other social media accounts didn't have.
Yeah, so it's just basically like somebody who was like very into Vine and knew people who went to headquarters, talked to people who worked at the headquarters when they worked for Twitter, wherever the case may be. Their idea of getting and connecting with the community was complete garbage. It was trash. They didn't communicate with you about anything. If you were in contact with somebody or you knew somebody who was going to the headquarters, they only contacted who they wanted, which is very understandable. But there was no human interaction in this business. You know what I mean? It's kind of how Twitter will delete your account. It will just be a computer that talks to you. Like YouTube. This is an example. YouTube, when you go to email them about a problem you have, you don't talk to a real person for like maybe 6 hours into your emails back and forth with this computer. Like say a video gets or something, your account gets. Talk to anybody. You're talking to a computer up until that computer decides, well, you know what? I can't answer these questions. So I feel like the human interaction side of it should be, I'm not saying you guys should have specific people, like maybe hire 100 people. I'm not saying that at all. There should be some way where if you have a discrepancy and it cannot be handled by an automated system because you're going to need one, it should be handled by a person. And then also on the side of if you are a content creator and you have thousands of followers or hundreds of thousands, let's put it that way, there should be some way where you can be in contact with somebody who works at the headquarters, because at that point you have such a big following, you're kind of bringing bringing people to the app. If you kind of get what I'm saying, I'm not saying every person with 100,000 should have somebody's number at the headquarters, but there should be more of an interaction if headquarters is taking an interest in your videos to go to events or go to VidCon or something like that. It shouldn't just be like, well, computer person. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that at all. That's how you lose people. Because in a sense, that's what killed Vine in the first place. It wasn't the fact that the app started sucking. It was the fact that the community started sucking. And that all came from Twitter. I mean, Twitter is a terrible place full of terrible people who say very outrageous things.
Exactly, that you're referring to the fact that you think that this platform should really be careful with how it manages its influencers and the way it interacts with them as well. More human interaction and more of a logical interaction. Not just let's treat.
Yeah, 100%, because that was the issue before. Like they were, you could tell they were using people were not going to say people were using people for money, and they were using that as a way to be like, well, we got this guy behind us, so.
I think a good example. Sorry.
No, go
ahead. A team that does respond. I started. I used to do Musically, and I got pretty decent through that. Like I got verified and all. And the response team through Musically was pretty well. They would probably answer me within the day. They usually help out with whatever problems, and they did it before I was verified or was anyone on the app.
Wait, were you verified on Musically?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I just stopped using the app about a year ago.
Let me. Okay, so this is how I always view verification, and this is how I personally. Right, this is just personal. I've always felt like verification should be something like if you have accounts that want to impersonate you, because I've had that happen to me. Like when I had 100K on Vine on my old account, at some point I feel like you need to, if you have fake accounts of you, regardless of how many. Now, if you're just making fake accounts of yourself and they can prove that, it's pretty simple to tell somebody's making fake accounts of themselves and making fan pages on themselves, whatever the case may be. But if you literally have accounts that impersonate you, try to pretend to be you, or say, hey, I got deleted this account. If I got deleted on Vine, somebody made a fake account of me as soon as I got deleted and then tried to say they were me. And they gained like 2K off of that. So I feel like when situations like that arise and you have the evidence, emails, screenshots, whatever the case may be, there should be some sense and direction saying like, hey, well, this person has enough. I don't want to say clout. That's not the correct terminology there, but you have enough
attention.
Yeah, there you go. You have enough attention to yourself that there should be a process where you're looked at for it, and then they see your other social medias and they see why or understand why. Because there are a lot of people, like the guy who just said he's verified on TikTok, right? I don't personally use that app, but if you're verified on another app and you have thousands of followers and they recognize, whatever the case may be, they recognize you by name. I'm not saying somebody with 100K should have a verification logo because they have 100K on Instagram. You can just buy those followers. But somebody who has comments, the whatever has been on other things, like a couple of my videos have been different sites, and one of my videos was on TV one time. Like stuff like that, where you can back that information up and verify that had happened, a link, something. You should be under a process of looked at for verification, where you can then talk to somebody. Like maybe you being looked at for it. Like you should have a page where you're being looked at for it, and then if the computer recognizes, like, hey, maybe this guy he has enough information to verify, whatever, and then you talk to a person, and then just like, okay, so this is the reason why we're not going to verify you, or this is the reason why we're looking at it, and we're going to put it on standby just to see.
I think the best part about verification is like, at least for me, when I got it, I post like 2 videos a day when Musically was a thing for me, and I felt like I was working hard. Some of my original content I thought was pretty good, and I kept trying every day, and the features felt really good. And I feel like it's just like a worth kind of thing. Like you finally did it. You worked hard enough to get this thing. You posted. You stayed connected with the community, and it all paid off for itself. Even though it's just like a chat, it kind of does mean something to a certain extent.
This is what Dom said on the forums. He said, I sort of hinted that we're exploring different options, But unfortunately, verification is a bragging right for some people, but there's definitely need for someone to be able to prove who they are. He said he's going to do a better job this time around. Maybe have it better just link up to your social media accounts just to say that you are this person, and maybe not have a specific badge that everybody gets, but just like different types.
I mean, I like that. It definitely makes sense if you have your social media connected anyways. It'd probably be easier to share your videos and also bring viewership to Byte itself or whatever the app may be called.
I got one question. So remember when Vine had like advertising, or they had Viners to make a like 6-second advertisement for a product? Is that still going to be a thing in V2?
Okay, so this has been a topic of discussion for a while now, especially because making money on a media app is so important, especially for people who want to do it as a almost career or as a career. I know that there is of course, some issues with doing sponsorships through products and companies because of the unreliability of a direct relationship between a producer and a promoter. And since the remake can't technically be in the middle of everything, it is very hard to regulate, and it can lead to a lot of taking advantage of, or just distraught between the two parties. So rather than the stars being completely reliant on sponsorships, such as like a promotion or a video or whatever, the remake team has expanded on making monetization and figuring out a solid ground for them to earn money through the app rather than having to go off of it and connect with third parties.
How would to deal with people who buy fake followers, likes, and those things? Like that was a thing on Vine.
So that's not going to be tolerated. If they catch them, they're probably going to be warned, maybe suspended. Because on YouTube doesn't tolerate people buying followers or subscribers.
How do you know they are
probably
fake?
The same thing for this.
Because if the person doesn't have the same amount of likes, or even close to the same amount of likes as the followers, you can kind of tell someone's
what usually gives it away, what usually gives this away is the amount of comments. Most services that are used to buy followers or buy likes can't buy comments because comments are unique. So usually when you see a post and you see a lot of likes and you see a lot of reposts, you check the comments because you expect there to be a lot of comments.
And you usually tell by the quality of the posts. If they're really crappy and really low content, most likely they're buying followers if they have a high amount. But if you can tell the content is good, that means they'll probably earn it.
Yeah. I know that there's a lot of promotion forums and services that can provide hundreds of thousands of likes within time. So I'm not too sure how it would be combated, because even the biggest of apps like Twitter and even YouTube can't even combat it. So I don't know what could be done.
Instagram doesn't even do really anything.
Yeah.
They just kind of not let them get verified if they have a lot of followings. That's pretty much what they do.
Okay.
Didn't you say something about the beta in Byte or something like that?
Oh yeah. This is actually, I'm glad that we did this. So on the forum, or just from what I talked to Dom about when we were in a public channel, he was saying that he plans on at some point doing something that the forum did. So when I joined the forum, when it was still the original 905 users that joined in 10 minutes on January 13th, he gave us the ability to invite other people via email. So say I got somebody's email as like my good friends and I wanted them on the forum with us, I could send them an invite and they would be able to join regardless of the registers or the registration's openness. Dom was talking about making it so the first beta users could invite up to 3 people. And I was just saying that I'm sure other experts, but I personally am going to be like hosting giveaways for a couple of my beta invites, maybe save one for like my good friends or family. But I want to try to give the community as much that I have and that I can. And then we're going to be doing stuff like beta streams, like me, Dylan, and Lex and Jay will probably sit into like a Twitch and live stream us going through the beta or answer questions that people have, showing it off, the cool stuff. But that's all in the future when beta comes out.
That'll be fun.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We were really happy that you guys were tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you guys on another session.